Hello and welcome to another episode of Fully Charged, coming to you from the Fully Charged studios, but recorded in a slightly different way. This is trying to produce more content because I get lots of comments about just do more news. So I'm going to do a bit more news today. We've been talking a lot to ZapMap, who are amazing. ZapMap is the map I use all the time to find out where you plug your car in. And there's a couple of ZapMap news stories because they run a brilliant website with loads of really good electric car stories. And here's a couple that caught my eye. The first one is about BP. British Petroleum, as they used to be called, or as they tried to rebrand themselves once, Beyond Petroleum, which might become more appropriate as time goes on. They're going to install electric car charging points in all of their forecourt filling station, petrol stations, call them what you will, gas stations, places where you put valuable and irreplaceable fossil fuel into the tank of a massively inefficient internal combustion engine vehicle. That's what I call them. Just to be annoying. The other bit of news that caught my eye was that the post office, the Royal Mail in the United Kingdom, the Queen's own postal service, has just bought 100 electric delivery vans. Now, I chat occasionally to my lovely post lady, who does a rural circuit delivering post all around the area that I live in, so that she could be using an electric van. She said, "Oh, I'd love that," because what do post people do when they're doing those deliveries in vans? Drive 100 metres, stop, get out, post the thing, get back in, drive 100 metres, stop, get out. Particularly around here, and maybe she drives then 2 miles to the next village, stop, get out. Well, each time she does that, she's got to go, put it in clutch down, into gear, handbrake on, clutch down. If she had an electric car, she wouldn't have to do that. She wouldn't have to do that. That's all I'm saying. And they would save an enormous amount of money because they could charge them at their central depot that could have solar panels on the roof. More about solar in a minute. Next story, Toyota. Oh, this is interesting. Long way ahead still. Toyota, real mystery to me. Massive fan of Toyota when they introduced the Prius. Really brave breakthrough vehicle. The classic adoption curve that new technology takes. It starts out really slow. When I bought my first Prius back in 2001, 2002, in this country, they were very, very rare. I didn't see other ones on the road. They were really unusual and no one thought they worked. And of course, you know, all the stories, I won't even do the Clarkson thing. You know, they're rubbish, they're awful, they're the worst cars in the world. They use more fuel than a Challenger 2 tank going backwards through a primary school. No one bought them for years, really low sales, really low. And then suddenly taxi firms started using them and now they have sold over 10 million worldwide. Every taxi you see in every city around the world is a Prius. Every Uber is a Prius. So you think, brilliant. But then Toyota said, oh, no, hydrogen is the future. They've been listening to James May from 2005. It could be the future. I am not anti-hydrogen. I'm just mildly sceptical, and I think safely mildly sceptical about hydrogen fuel cells in small passenger vehicles, in buses, trucks, diggers, earth movers. Brilliant. Please bring it on. Trains, excellent. Ships, oh my God. Yep, there's a lot of stuff happening there. But small passenger vehicles just is really expensive, really difficult, really complicated infrastructure installation. There's electricity everywhere in the world. And Toyota are hedging their bets because they are bringing out in 2022, okay, not that soon, a solid state electric battery for an electric car, for a battery electric car. Solid state batteries really don't quite exist yet. This is a completely different technology to lithium ion. It's mainly glass and salt. It was the early models of this were developed by Professor Goodenough in the University of Austin in Texas, I believe. I've mentioned him before on Fully Charged. Amazing man. He's the man who originally came up with the original lithium-ion battery back in the early 1970s in Oxford. He's still working. He's 95. He's a dude. And so that's what Toyota are using. And they're talking about charge times of fractional charge times of what they are now and massive increase in energy density. So what might happen in 2022 is there's an electric car that comes on the market that is hugely more popular because it charges in 10 minutes and you can drive 500 miles on it without even a second thought. Who knows? We've got a long time to wait and see. And I've got a feeling, and I'm worried for Toyota, that a lot of other things might develop in that time. But I really hope they're a success. See that shelving behind me? IKEA. They are now selling solar panels and batteries for your house in one package for around £3,000. Now let me just explain something, because I've got solar panels and batteries in this house and they cost £8,000. And I will explain how I managed to pay for that, because it's quite an intriguing little story. And I did pay for it full price. You don't get discounts from Tesla. That's a Tesla Powerwall and 5.5 kilowatt peak of solar panels on the roof. and that costs £8,000. Well, for £3,000, you can get exactly the same system, slightly smaller battery capacity, but it still does an amazing job. It is transformative technology. I just won't go on about it too much because it's just been extraordinary having it for the couple of months I've had it. We're recording the episode about the Powerwall next week. But for £3,000, let me just explain quickly. Say 7 years ago, exactly the same system would have cost you about between £15,000 and £20,000, and it's now £3,000. Major power companies with centralized power generation and distribution networks, be warned. Your days are numbered. It is quite scary how quickly this stuff will take off. It is transformational, disruptive technology that will throw the existing order out of whack. Who knows what's going to happen? No one knows. I don't know. I'm not even pretending. But having the experience I've had where you don't use electricity from the grid except at night to charge your car, that's the only electricity I've used in 8 weeks. I haven't used 1 watt of daytime, peak time electricity in 8 weeks. Not 1 watt. I will do over the whole year. Of course I will. But the reduction in my demand from the grid is catastrophic for big power generators. It's going to mess things up. I'm not saying it's all good. There's going to be downsides. Enough of that. Finally, Nissan Leaf. No one knows what it looks like until some naughty people took some spy shots, which you can see here, of the new Nissan Leaf being filmed, clearly to publicise it and for commercial purposes. So it's been spotted on the streets of Japan. No one knows anything about the new Nissan Leaf. We all expect it to have a great deal more range on a charge. It kind of needs to because of the recent release of the Tesla Model 3. Now, one last thing, I've got a few wonderful Patreon supporters that I want to read out their names because they're amazing. The supporters for $10 a month or more: Gordon McNevin, Nigel Wickenden, Bobby Tetzel, Aaron Taylor, Brandon Schmidt, Tommy Sherwin, and Michael Rosmariak. Thank you all so much for supporting Fully Charged on Patreon. The link's down below this video, don't tell anyone. And here's a little bit of an update from my wonderful co-presenter on Fully Charged, Johnny Smith. The electric car that he and his team built, the amazing flux capacitor, broke the 10 seconds barrier on the quarter mile. Well, you saw the flux capacitor. We've had it on Fully Charged. It is an amazing little car. It's so tiny and it's faster than cars that cost £1.5 million.
Okay, so this is the first run with the additional battery pack fitted, bringing it up to 400 volts. The best that I've done in this car is 10.51 seconds at 121 mile an hour, which is quick. It's quicker than a Lamborghini Aventador on the quarter mile. It's quicker than a Lamborghini, quicker than a Lamborghini Huracan, quicker than a, let's think, Ferrari 458 easily. McLaren 650S, standard GTR Nissan. So yeah, I'm very proud of her right now.
I don't know what it was.
986.
You're joking?
No. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thanks very much for watching. That's all we've got time for. Please do subscribe to Fully Charged so you don't miss any of our glorious episodes. And as always, if you have been,